Hi boys and girls, it's Mrs. Smith. I hope everyone's having an awesome day. I am gonna teach us about math. I'm gonna teach you about math. So we're gonna focus on two words today. The first word is one you've probably heard of before. The second word is a little bit trickier. We're gonna do some experiments with each one and I'm gonna have you practice with me. So the first word, the one that some of you've probably heard of before, is the word weight. So weight, I know I've heard that before, but what does it truly mean? What do you think? Whisper it. Did you say how heavy something is or how light something is? If you did, you are correct. Heavy and light are opposites. So if something is really heavy, it's hard to carry. It's like hard for me to pick up. I need stronger muscles. It is heavy. It weighs a lot. If something is light, it's really easy to pick up. It's easy for me to carry. It does not weigh a lot. So those are opposites. Now you may see me using my arms like this. I'm kind of turning myself into a pan balance. Do you remember using pan balances at school? Raise your hand. Do you remember? Yep, I thought you would. So a pan balance is when we had those buckets, they're little buckets, and we would put objects in each side. And then we would compare to see which object weighed more. Now, do you remember, if I was holding two objects, do you remember the one that goes down is which one? Is that the light one or is that the heavy one? What do you think? Light, heavy. Did you say heavy? You are correct. If it is heavy, it weighs the whole bucket down. And if it is light, it goes up. So the pan balance would always go either heavy, light, or heavy, light. Okay, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna be comparing some objects that I found around my house. So let me tell you about these objects. I have this little truck. He's pretty silly. I have a coffee mug. Do you recognize them? Cat in the Hat. I have a marker. I have just a piece of paper. I have a rock that Evie painted. I have a bowl. See, all objects I'm just finding in my house. I have a cow, stuffed animal. Ooh. And I have a book. You may recognize some of those people. So these are things I found around my house. And I'm sure if you looked around your house, you could find objects like this as well. So what we're gonna do is I'm gonna pick up two objects and I'm just gonna hold them first. And I want you to think about which one weighs more. So you're gonna think about which one is heavier or which one is lighter. All right, so let me pick my first two objects. I think I'm gonna go with the rock and the piece of paper. So we have a rock and a piece of paper. I want you to think about which one weighs more. Which one is heavier? All right, I'm gonna put it in my hands and I'm gonna turn myself into a pan balance. Ready? 3, 2, 1. The rock weighs more, so my hand went down. The paper is lighter, so I put my hand up. The rock is heavier than the paper. All right, ready for the next one? Okay. All right, what about, let's do two things I found in the kitchen. What about my Cat in the Hat mug or this yellow bowl? I'm keeping them the same. I want you to decide, and then I will turn into a pan balance. All right, ready? 3, 2, 1. Zoop. Did you think that the mug was heavier than the bowl? If you said that the mug would be heavier than the bowl, you are correct. All right, let's keep it going. All right, what about, I'm gonna choose a marker and a pen. This one's kind of a tricky one. A marker and a pen. Which one do you think is heavier and which one is lighter? Or is there another option? All right, ready? I'm gonna turn into a pan balance. 3, 2, 1. Did you notice I didn't move? That is because the pen and the marker weigh about the same. Neither of them are heavier or lighter than the other. So they are both just in my pan balance like this. They are, another word we would say, they are equal. All right, let's keep it going. What about, I haven't used these yet. What about my book and my stuffed animal cow? Think about it, think about it. All right, turning into a pan balance in 3, in 2, in 1. Did you say that the cow would be lighter than the book? If you did, you are correct. So boys and girls, we practiced a little bit about the word weight, or we learned a little bit about the word weight and using the word heavier and lighter. Another tool that you can use instead of pan balances where you can compare, if you want to know exactly how much something weighs, you can use a scale. I brought one out here. You can use a scale. Have you ever seen one of these? You might have one at home. A scale tells you exactly how much something weighs. All right, now I'm gonna get ready for our next big word. All right, boys and girls, so now I'm gonna teach you the second word. Remember at the beginning I said you were gonna learn 2 new words. One you've heard of and one might be new. Well, now it's time to learn the one that you've probably never heard of before. It is the word capacity. What? What did you say, Mrs. Smith? Capacity. Can you say it out loud? Capacity. Yeah, capacity is how much something holds. So instead of doing how much something weighs or how heavy or light it is, we're going to talk about how much something holds. And we're going to talk about this new word capacity using backpacks. Remember when you used backpacks with Mrs. Moore last week and you were talking about measuring height and width and things like that? Well, today we're going to use backpacks to find out how much something holds or how great their capacity is. So I have this gray backpack right here. It's Mr. Smith's. And then I have this backpack. This is Evie's backpack. Now, before we test this out, I just want to show you these 2 backpacks. So I've noticed that this gray backpack, if I put them together, the gray backpack is taller. And then I noticed that this princess backpack, it is actually, it's hard for you to see, but it is actually wider. It's a little bit wider. So this one is taller and this one is wider. Now the question is, which one can hold more? Are you ready to find out? I'm gonna need your help. So what we're gonna do, normally when you have backpacks, what do you put inside backpacks? Were you thinking books? You may have noticed, look at all these books back here. I have a bunch of books, and all of these books, they're about the same size, okay? So they're all very, very similar or close in size. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna fill these backpacks, and I'm gonna see which backpack can hold more, or which one has the greater capacity. All right, let's go ahead and fill them up. All right, boys and girls, that took me a second. Whew, I'm out of breath. So I filled these backpacks with books. I can't even fit another book in here. Look at that, see how full it is? Look at this one. Oh, it is full. Now we're gonna find out which one has the greater capacity. Remember, capacity is how much something holds. Now before we count these, how will we know which one has the greater capacity? They're both holding books, right? So how will we know? Did you say which one has or holds more books? You're right. So whichever one holds more books has the greater capacity. Let's go ahead and try this. Are you ready to help me count? Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now these are huge books. The princess backpack held 6 books. All right, it's time for the gray one. Oh, okay, help me count. All right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, I'm not out of books. 7, 8. This gray backpack held 8 books. So 6 or 8. which one held more? The gray one did. So if you guessed the gray one would hold more at the beginning, you were right. So looking at the gray one and the pink one, remember how we said the gray backpack was taller? And the gray backpack had the greatest capacity. Do you think that's always the case? Do you think if something is taller, it's always gonna hold more? I wanted to do a quick experiment to show you something. Very carefully, I'm gonna show you these vases, okay? So I have this tall vase and it is full of water. Can you see the water moving? Yeah, it's full of water. Hopefully I don't drop it. And then I have this vase and it is empty, nothing in it, okay? All right, so you will notice this vase is tall. Look how much taller it is. And this vase is short. So on the backpacks, the taller backpack held more books. It had a greater capacity. Do you think the taller vase or the shorter vase will have a greater capacity? I'm gonna make sure you can see them. All right, are you ready to see? Okay, so this one is filled to the top. So if the tall one has a greater capacity, when I pour the water into this one, water's gonna go everywhere. It's gonna go all over me. If the shorter one has a greater capacity, there might be more space left in it. And if they have the exact same, if they hold the exact same, then it'll go to the tippy top of my shorter vase. Are you ready to find out? Okay, cross your fingers so I don't spill it. Ready? Oh, what's gonna happen? All right, it's all out. Oh, what do you notice? Look, on this vase, it was up to the tippy top. But look at the water in this vase. There is a lot more room. I could put a lot more water. So which one has the greater capacity? The shorter one. So I just wanted to give you a little lesson. Just because something is taller does not mean it'll hold more. All right, recap time. Ready? Recap. We learned 2 new words, weight and capacity. Can you whisper? What does weight mean? Whisper it. Yeah, did you say how much something weighs? Like if it's heavier or lighter? Oh, good job. Nice job. Okay, now I want you to tell me in your best robot voice, tell me what capacity means. It's not how heavy or light something is. That's weight. What does capacity mean? Did you say how much something can hold? Did you say how much something can hold? You are correct. All right, thanks for joining me, boys and girls. I will see you again soon. Bye.